What's going on, guys? This is Blake with Fringe Sport. I'm here today to show you guys how to safely bail out of a squat, whether you have spotter arms or not. All right, guys, so the first thing you want to do when you're setting up your squat with your safety spotter arms is make sure you have the right height, okay? Because if it's too low, it's not really going to serve a purpose unless you drop it. But what you can do is make it high enough where at the bottom of your squat, that bar actually, it's parallel with the spotter arm. So making sure you pick the correct height is step number one. All right, guys, so like I said earlier, want you to make sure you're above the spotter arms, make sure you're actually above them. And what you want to do is as you go down, keep your core tight, and as you get stuck in that hole, all you're going to do is to try to lift up, look up, and let the bar roll off your back. All right, guys, so what we did here was we moved the spotter arms up one notch. What that's going to do is going to basically allow me a base at the bottom of my squat, so when I hit all the way at the bottom, the bar is actually going to touch the spotter arm. And for this video purpose, I'm gonna be facing away from the squat rack. Normally you would be facing towards the wall or actually facing your rack. So what I did, guys, at the very bottom of my squat, the depth that I had set it at, the bar actually rested on the spotter arms. So if you know your depth, so you can set the spotter arm to the appropriate height for the lowest part of your squat and act as the safest point of using the spotter arms. So once that bar hits, all you have to do is let the bar hit spotter arms and you can just walk away. All right, guys, so we're gonna show the same thing as before, how to bail in a back squat with no spotter arms. So the only difference here is essentially that you don't have anything, you don't have a marker when to bail. You can bail whenever you want, okay? Very important though, as you're bailing, you don't want to round your back. You want to make sure you stay upright so that bar has a clear path and doesn't hit you on the way down. So what that's going to look like, I'm going to take the bar off. Again, I want to have really good form, keeping my core tight, and especially on the way down, keep my eyes up, sit upright, and let the bar roll off and walk away. All right, guys, so the whole point of everything we're showing you today is revolving around safety. We have the safety spotter arms and how to bail on a squat, obviously for safety. Now, when you're doing a 1 rep max or a heavy lift, it's always better if you can to have a spot, but sometimes you don't always have that. Sometimes you don't have spotter arms. Sometimes you're by yourself in your garage. So let's go over a couple do's and don'ts, okay? So the first thing I mentioned earlier is try to always stay upright, okay? You never want to round your back on a bail because what's going to happen is you're going to fold, you have a higher chance to hurt yourself, and it's just not a safe way to do it. Another thing is make sure when you're going down and you bail, you keep your eyes where you want to go. You don't want to look down and bail because you may hurt yourself, okay? So make sure you stay upright. When you bail forward, you kind of want to go let your knees come forward and kind of walk out. You don't want to fold and let the weight kind of just squish you, right? All right, guys, so a couple of things to consider when you're bailing out on that squat. Obviously, make sure you have enough room where you're at. You don't want to drop the bar and hurt yourself or anybody else. But a couple of things that can go wrong if you don't pay attention. So as I go down, if I start going too much on my toes, I'm just gonna start collapsing, my structure breaks. So obviously make sure you keep your weight in your heels, keep your core tight. What I also don't wanna do is look down, because if I look down, that bar may roll forward on my neck and squish me, and that is when you really can get hurt. So always make sure to stay upright. So again, when you drop that bar, it goes straight off your back and goes straight down into the floor. All right, guys, so that's kind of the importance about bailing on a squat and the importance of having safety spotter arms. Again, guys, the big thing is safety and longevity, right? So we gotta make sure we're staying safe. This is extremely ideal if you're at home by yourself. Whether you have a partner or not, it's always good to have some insurance in terms of safety. Obviously, we have these for 2x3 uprights, so any of our racks that we carry, any 3x3s, pretty standard and universal across the board. But again, guys, it's just very important to make sure that you're staying safe on this stuff. So definitely look into getting spotter arms, 100% worth it. So you can get everything over at www.fringesport.com. Go ahead and like, subscribe to our newsletter. Go ahead and check it out.